Advance Wars! Hello everybody, my name is Sniping's Fun, and welcome you all back to the 84th character in this long-running series of newcomer ideas for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I've just recently talked about the hero Yusha 11 from Dragon Quest 11, the long-running iconic RPG series. But now I'm going to be jumping back to yet another somewhat still iconic series from another iconic company inside Nintendo, jumping back into the world, talking about Nintendo characters, talking about intelligence systems, but not a Fire Emblem character. I do have at least maybe one or two more of those later on down the line. Yes, I do have some more Fire Emblem characters I want to talk about. It's not just Alm, Celica, Byleth, Dimitri, Claude, and Edelgard. I'm going to have one or two more as well. But those I'm going to wait a little bit on, because I want to talk about this series, and I already talked about it. You're going to see the thumbnail whenever I change it and whatnot. And I want to talk about this character, and I want to talk about Advance Wars, the Wars series, Battalion Wars, Famicom Wars, Andy! And he's my 84th character I want to talk about. And like always, before this intro gets out too far out of hand, 3 separate categories. Why does the character make sense? Moveset ideas, and percentage chance I can actually see him getting in. Now, why does Andy, before I can get to Andy, why does Advance Wars deserve a character in Smash Bros. At all? First and foremost, Intelligent Systems, the creators of Fire Emblem, it's not their only series. The first series they basically made was Famicom Wars, which was turned eventually into Advance Wars when it was finally localized and made outside Japan when the Game Boy Advance and whatnot was coming around. 2 games on the Game Boy Advance, 2 games on the DS, and we haven't seen it since. But it's a long-running series that many fans of Nintendo want to see return alongside its side sibling franchise Fire Emblem, which has skyrocketed in popularity and skyrocketed in push from Nintendo since Awakening came out and pushed the series forward to see more representation in Smash Bros. Spin-offs like Warriors and whatnot, Fire Emblem Warriors. Yeah, there you go. But it's basically Intelligent Systems' original IP. And it's so popular it could eventually come back. And there are rumors I'm hearing that one day they are going to bring it back. So, there's with Nintendo, you can't count them out. You can't count any of their franchises out. Advance Wars, Golden Sun, Sin and Punishment, Wave Race, 1080, Custom Robo, Elite Beat Agents. All these franchises could one day come back because Nintendo's buried franchises before and brought them back, like Punch Out and the Excite series. So there you go. But like I said, there's a chance it could come back. It's Intelligent Systems' original IP, and it still has popularity and it still has demand for newer games. And it should join Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem has this much representation in Smash Bros. And it should still get more. I know people did not, disagree with me on that. I do think Fire Emblem still deserves more characters, but that also doesn't mean they shouldn't throw in, Intelligent Systems, other franchise, the Wars franchise as well. It's more long running, more iconic than pretty much Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem started in 1990. The Wars franchise started with Famicom Wars in 1988. So, yeah. It's longer historical history with Nintendo. Its sister series, its sibling series, Fire Emblem has made a big grand impact, and Intelligent Systems boosted that series to infinity and beyond. And that series has so much representation in it. They should represent their other franchise. It's Intelligent Systems' original IP, and it's there's always a chance it can come back. I would love to see it to come back and reach the same push that Fire Emblem has. Both of them should be getting the same amount of push because both of them are long-running iconic series with lots of beloved characters and whatnot. And in terms of specifically Andy, he is essentially the mascot of the series. I know people would probably say the most iconic thing to throw into the series is an infantry soldier with their guns and their bazookas and their planes and whatnot. But really, quite frankly, in terms of the series, it kind of got more iconic characters when it finally was turned into Advance Wars. I remember, Famicom Wars, and it was mostly soldier-based, and they do have their own characters technically. But it's also, it feels like back then, the series was mostly focused on just the soldiers. And I know they're probably the most iconic thing from the series, but I want to represent one of the commanding officers, one of the COs, because that's become a prominent feature in the series over time. When it was Battalion Wars on the GameCube and the Wii, there was a lot of high-end general soldier. General was running their soldiers. And then Advance Wars 2, Dual Strike, Days of Ruin. I would say it should be a commanding officer. And the most iconic and requested one is probably Andy. He was the main character of the first 2 games. He was a major character in, the third one, and obviously, Days of Ruin was a different set of cast characters. But it's like he is practically the mascot, the most well-known character outside the likes of Olaf, Sammy, Max, and Eagle. And he was the original character you played as. He was your original commanding officer. I would say it should be him because of his historic status with the series and being practically a mascot of it. And Advance Wars being such a beloved series that it is, that could eventually come back, I think it deserves representation, even though we haven't seen a game in about 11... it's about 11 years now. I think we haven't seen one. Almost 11. Almost 10. But 11 eventually. But still, there you go. And that's the reason why I feel it deserves representation. Now, in terms of moveset ideas for Andy, people would probably deny him because he's not really a fighter. None of the commanding officers really can fight besides the likes of maybe Sammy, Max, Eagle. And there's a few other ones. They have the ability to fight on their own, even though they don't fight in the games. They do have combat experience. He doesn't really. He's a mechanic. He rebuilds things. So I want to take that. You see, you don't really see it in the picture, but he uses wrenches. So his smash attacks are going to be him taking out his dual wrenches and smacking people, throwing his wrenches. Hit my wrench! My boomerang wrench! And just smacking people with his wrench. You gotta have to do that. We don't have any wrench users in Smash Brothers yet, so Andy could be easily fit that category of a weapon style. So that has to be a smash attack. He doesn't really fight, but he has to defend himself. So make him look kind of cowardly a little bit. Maybe not this whole coward because he's not really a coward, but he doesn't have fighting experience like Sammy and whatnot. So make him look like he's attacking, but make him look like he's inexperienced with attacking. So that's what I would say totally for Andy. Special attacks, he's a commanding officer. Make his special attacks commanding his soldiers. He can summon infantry. He can summon tanks. He can summon planes. He can summon bombing planes. He can summon trucks and tanks and bazookas and all these soldiers to come out on the field and just start shooting up the stage. It'd be a hard thing to manage. I think he should be a character if he does that. It's one of those harder characters to master. It's once you get to know the character, you really could be good with it, but it's like hard entry of character to really master. Like his smash attack should be easy understood by people, but people are going to have to understand that play as him how to control the soldiers and when to summon them, don't summon them, do summon them, and try to. It's like a strategic thing, just like the game series is. It's a strategy game. You have to strategize when you summon soldiers to fight for you. So you have to rely on your soldiers and summon them. I think he should be a character that's hard to master, but once you master him, it's a good character to play as, like a strategic character. Like risk versus reward. Learn how to play as him. So I'd make his special attacks him commanding all his soldiers. He can summon planes to come down and drop bombs, or bombing planes. Planes come down and shoot opponents and stuff like that. And what the heck else ever. His final smash has to be a commanding officer team up. And the other two characters, you basically see them, especially because they're on the box art of the original game. I want to represent them in this game if Andy's playable. Sammy and Max. And they're the three major of the Orange Star Army, which is the main character army for those of you that have never played Advance Wars, or at least from Andy's games. Like I said, there's different armies later, in like Dual Strike and Days Ruin and whatnot, Battalion Wars. But in the main Advance Wars trio of games on the Game Boy Advance and DS, it is the main army for those who ever played it. He summons Sammy and Max to the stage. Max will come riding in on his tank and start bombing opponents like insane. It should be a cutscene, so he should probably throw a wrench to get someone caught in a cutscene. And he rides in the tank. He's like, yeah, Max! And if you know Max, he's a big muscle-bound blue-haired guy. And he shoots people with his tank. And then here comes Sammy jumping up on the tank with her machine gun. And she jumps into the opponents and maybe attacks them. And here comes Andy, who summoned the biggest explosive plane or something to come and just blow the opponents off the stage. And he's like, yeah! And they're all celebrating and riding the tank away. And the cutscene just ends with them riding the tank off the screen. And he jumps back to the stage while they leave. There you go. Now let's get on to percentage chance I can see him actually getting in. Hyping him up so much this video, seeing as how he'd be a major character to include, the other Intelligent Systems franchise. Many people want to see the series return. Many people want the series to be included in Smash Brothers. But as of now, the future of the series is pretty unlikely. So I'm going to give him a 35% chance. I'm more on the low side, but still possible, because I do think people were requesting him a bit in the Smash ballot. I do see people requesting a bit. I have heard from people that they put him in the Smash ballot, so he probably was decently on the Smash ballot, and that might help his chances to get in. But what would help his chances more is if Intelligent Systems and Nintendo made another Advance Wars, Battalion Wars, Famicom Wars game, and then maybe they want to include him in Smash Bros. Maybe as DLC. Maybe if we get an announcement for a new Advance Wars at some point, maybe next year or something. After Fire Emblem Three Houses is done, maybe they'll bring Advance Wars to the Switch before the next for Fire Emblem 17. Who knows? But I think what would help his chances more is if the series comes back. But I'm giving a 35% chance minimal because he was decent on the Smash Ballot, I believe. But the series being dormant as long as it has hurts his chances a lot. And I still think that is a reason why they wouldn't want to include him just yet. But I do think eventually he should be in there. So that's it for Andy from Advance Wars. Hey, got it on the table. Yes! That's it for Andy, character number 84. In the comments, do you guys think? Do you guys want to see Advance Wars represented at all? Have you even played an Advance Wars game? And if so, is Andy the perfect choice for it, or should we do like Will, or Olaf, or Max, or Sammy, or Eagle, or Sturm, or someone from Dual Strike or something? I forgot his name. Jake. Put in the comment section who would be the perfect representation for this game, for series, if they ever included in Smash Brothers. Put it down there, discuss it, we have fun. That's it for character number 84. And stay tuned back when I get to character number 85, and I talk about another Donkey Kong character in my series. And I talk about Cranky Kong. See you all later. Bye.